So that being said, let's take a look now. Let's see, 642. Let's take a look a bit here with the properties. Okay, and when properties kind of go hand in hand here with custom profiles here in just a little bit. So let's take a look here. I'm going to look at my cut list here. I'm going to right click and update. Everything should pretty much sit in a folder. The only thing that things that won't sit in something that looks like this little weldment symbol, older versions of SolidWorks, these are all literally just folders. This was a newer thing. Things that were created with a structural member command, they put this little symbol in front of it so you could decipher what was done with what. But let's take a look here. I've got these two pieces. I'm going to right click here on the label, or it's actually a folder, cut list item 2 here. And let's see what it is. Now, what we can see here, at the moment, this part is metric. Let me take here, watch what happens. I'm going to change this to inch pound. Give it a save. Now I'm going to go to the properties. Okay. And we can see in here, now we're at actual inches. Okay, with that. Now, length, angle, description. These are things here. Let's find this particular profile. Okay, so if I take a look here, and this one is 2 square by 2.0 AL tube. So I'm going to find that here in my list. So ANSI inch AL tube square, and I'm going to look for my 2 square, my 1/4 inch wall. Okay, now I'm going to open this up. So hang on just a second here. Drag and drop here. All right. So let's take a look. This is the profile when I selected and said I want this 2 square. This is what it was accessing in that SW custom ANSI inch folder. So if I look at the file properties, okay, I see a description, okay, in here. So this property right now is the only thing, again, that is coming over with this. The other items, the length and that angle cut, those are things that are added once you place it, because that sketch line is actually determining, say, for instance, that length. And if you have a miter, say at 45 degrees, that is also something that is a property that is created once you drop this into place. Let me go ahead and get rid of that one. There we go. Okay, so once again here, looking at these properties, our description came over, but our angle, length. Here's another thing that it adds is material. Now, if I want more than just description to come across, I can add that to that profile. Okay, so the next time I would use the 2 square profile here, and I come in into properties here, and I can say, well, let's do a vendor. And this is going to be Elro Steel. So now, if I use this again and reinsert it, we're going to see vendor. I can be included in that list. So anything that you property-wise include in that solid library feature part profile is going to come over. That's really important. A lot of people don't realize that I've seen in the past, anyways. Now I tell everyone religiously that we can pull these profiles, these properties over, because this might be for instance, a part number from Elro that we can pull for this particular size. We can have things in here again, maybe a current cost. Again, any kind of property that you'd like to pull in here and have that apply. So adding profile or properties to the profile will pull. Okay. Let's see here. Next up, so a little bit about that. Okay. Now the other thing is, let's take a look at these end caps. Okay, we had all that nice information that came across, okay, with weldment profiles, but this end cap was created in a slightly different way. Let's go ahead and I'm going to look at the properties for this piece. And we're going to see here, we just see material. Okay, so we're going to have to add those properties to these after the fact like we would any other kind of normal part. Okay, now we can access dimensions from this in order to get sizing. Oh, thank you, Dan. I made it 0.005 instead of 0.5. That would help. So probably doing it in millimeter or something with that transfer. So in any case here, we would need to add more to it. Again, so a description. Okay, maybe we might need a material thickness. Okay, or something like that. A 1/4 inch plate. All right. Now, the other thing is, how do we get, how do you know what size it is without detailing this? How can we put that in the description and make it parametric? So I want to show you a slick little way that we can add our properties in and make this parametrically linked to the description or to the size of that. So let me hit OK on this for just a moment. I'm going to find my original end cap, and that is it right there. Okay, it doesn't technically, it's not the original here, but notice here's that 1/4 inch. Okay, and we see here the chamfer here, you know, the chop off dimension, but the actual overall dimension is tied to the outside profile of this part. Okay, so I'm going to do something here kind of interesting. What I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to do a dimension here, and I want a reference dimension. Now I'm not in a sketch. Okay, I'm going to go here to here, and I'm going to put one here to here. Okay, so now I have an X, a Y, and a Z measurement on this particular plate. So now that I have that set, I'm going to kind of put it over here in the corner so I can click on it here. I'll go back to these properties. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and click on 1.875 dimension. And notice when I click on it here, I had my cursor blinking here in my property, and I clicked on that dimension. So dimension here, RD1 at annotation at conveyor frame. It's the information, again, that it needs, or the address of that particular dimension. So I'll go by, and I'll click my other dimension. Okay, by. And finally here, I'll just move this. And again, I might need to find, again, I need to find that end cap there and do my 1/4. Okay, and let's see how it looks here. Hit enter. And there we go. So right now I see if this was bill of material information with this description, 1.875 by 1.875 by 2.50, all three place decimal here, plate. That's pretty custom. Okay, 3 place. Now why is this going to 3 place? Okay, in this particular, because I'm pulling off this dimension. Okay, because let's see, our other ones here, where it's 3 place wall, but 2 square here. But we could take here, and because this is a measurement, okay, on here, we can take, and if I change my units here to just 2 place, okay, give it a save here. I'll go into those properties again. Okay, notice we drop that down. So if we want to do that, okay, we can do that. Now, you know, we'll have it like this. Now, all those profiles have a typed-in description. Okay, so if you want those for, you don't technically need those to be parametrically linked because they're one size is one profile. However, if you create something custom profile with that, you may want to make that parametric. Okay, so because you want a bill of material where everything matches nicely. All right, so with that, again, with that description there, we can plug in, again, just to show you one more time, just some random lettering there, is as long as I can see the dimension, I can go ahead and click that dimension out here. Again, if I can't see that dimension right off the bat, okay, I would have to either, again, if there is no dimension for that, I might need to come in here and, again, do another reference dimension. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So next up, all right. So we've got we got some end caps in here. We've done, again, some of our basics. Okay, along with that. So I've told you about the profiles. We can have those attached. Okay, with properties, we can come in here and customize this. Okay, we talked about our trimming. Okay, with our weldments. Okay, and that's pretty much all the features specific to weldments. Okay, with this, we can do all sorts of stuff like trim and cut these just like we would normally do on any other piece. And the nice thing is, say for instance, one of these legs was sitting up high on something else. Okay, so I can do, for instance, I'm going to move this face. Let's see, do that 6 inches. So it sits up higher than the rest of them. And when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and right-click on my cut list and update. Okay, and now what I'm going to see, okay, is there's my 3 legs right there, and the leg here. Okay, there's just a single one of those. So even though it started out as the same, if I drill a hole in one of these, that will also push it into its own cut list item because it is different. It's got a hole in it. Okay, with that. So, knowing that, all right, let's talk about profile here. How do we create a profile? Well, the easiest way to set up a brand new set of profiles, and in my case here, okay, I did lumber. Okay, so let me take here. So we'll do the studs, okay? And I made it really easy. I just took one of the square profiles here. I went to the AL tube square, picked out anything square. I'll do another 2x4 here. So for instance, and again, this can be any profile. If there's one already set up, just as close to size, copy and paste it. Okay, so let's do. We'll do roughly, let's see, well, that was square. Let's do rectangular. Let's make a big beam here. We'll get it roughly, we'll start with this. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this profile, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it in my lumber. It's close enough right now to start with. Okay. Now, I'm going to take here, and I'm going to go ahead and I can rename this. Okay, this is eventually here going to be a 2x10. Okay, so I've renamed it appropriately. And again, this is an example for anything. This isn't just lumber. Again, many people think weldments automatically mean metal, and it doesn't have to be that way. All right, so now, let me stop for a second sharing that. I'm just going to open it up here. All right, and now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to change the things here. So first off here, I'll go to the file properties, okay, and I'm going to say this is going to be a 2x10 stud. Okay, so that's the description that are in there. Now again, if I wanted to, I could parametrically link this, but again, at this point, this is at one size per particular stud here. All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and edit my sketch. All right, so 2, and again, it depends on the orientation when you lay this, how you want to see this. So I'm going to take this actually and go to, let's see, a 10. Oh boy, I can't remember what the actual 10 measurement is now. I don't usually do that. Let's just say it's 9.5. I can't, darn it, remember for the life of me there. Okay, and 2 here at 1.5. I'm going to take here with this inside profile here, and I don't even need to get rid of it. I'll just turn this inside profile to construction. Okay, because sometimes when you, the way they've built this, there are certain, again, you might kill a relation or something. You got to mess with it a bit more here. But essentially, we've got a 2x10 now. And I realize these are square edged. Okay, but again, we're in the end, we're looking for a nice looking picture here. And if it's square edges, it's easier on the system instead of a load of fillets everywhere. Okay, and now I'll jump out here and I'll hit save on this. Okay, so now I've got this 2x10. All right, and it saved it to the proper library. So let me show this. Okay, so here's one that I did ahead of time with a bunch of 2x4, 2x3, kids' new awesome clubhouse that they're going to have. So let's take a look. Let me see how this 2x10 works. So maybe I'm going to do around the bottom here. Okay, so here, way over to here. Okay, now with that sketch there, okay, I'll jump out, and now I'm going to go in here to, again, structural member, find my lumber, stud, 2x10. And I realize we wouldn't do this in real life, but again, just for the purposes here. Okay, here, now again, notice here, it goes to where the origin is at. Okay, so I'm going to need to take here and flip this 90 degrees, and then also locate this via the corner here. Okay, at this point here, I could do, once again, I could keep on going around here. All right, go ahead and pick that. Let's go this direction here. Okay, pick another one. Again, customize which direction that miter is going. And finally here, this back. And OK. Okay. Now, the one thing I didn't do with that, which I should have done, okay, is to take and, again, add another property in there. But again, trust me on the fact, again, you add that particular profile in there, that property. Thank you, Samuel. 9.25, okay, with that. Now, if I made a mistake like that, oops, again, how do I go back and change that? Well, I could get rid of the that structural member, redo it. I could delete basically everything that's picked out of that structural member, then come back. I also find that the actual sketch here for this, again, it's a copy. It doesn't go back to that original solid library feature part here. And again, I can take here, let's say 9.25, right, and do an update, and that'll move back, and it's updated. Okay, so now I need to make sure in the future here, here's my 2x10. Okay, so the next time I use it here, I would want to take here and once again make sure that is correct in size. Okay, with that. Now, let me hit save on this, and we're going to go back to that wood structure, and we're going to talk about a little bit about materials here. Okay, so and it really doesn't matter which one it is. So, for instance, in this particular case, okay, if I assign a material like I would to any part file, I'll right-click and I'm going to say I want to make this whole thing AISI 1020 steel. Okay, I'll go ahead and save this, and now my mass properties are going to reflect the size of this part. If I go again, if I do an evaluate here, go to mass properties. I'm going to find here, here's my proper density. Right now this table is 130 pounds. Okay, but it might be too costly, okay, for AISI 1020 steel. Okay, so maybe I want the top. It's going to get beat up, so I want good hard steel on the top, okay, or a better, greater steel. Legs are going to get beat to heck. Okay, so what I can do here is find, go ahead and update here. There we go. Find my legs here, and when I right click here on these, okay, again, there's properties. Okay, but what I can do here is multi-select these, right click, go to material, and say I want these to be plain carbon steel. Okay, so instead of, again, everything by default, because I've called it out at the top level, is AISI 1020, but when I go a level deeper, I can call out those particular items as a different material. Okay, and let me go ahead and hit save here. Let's take a look at properties. Okay, plain carbon steel here. If I go up here, notice AISI 1020 steel. All right, now we're getting close here.